got to learn to shine the best part of you out there at all times, even when you don't feel it, because it's important. The world needs that. We all need it. We're all connected together. Haiku. A new day dawning. Uncover your precious gold. Let someone love you. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Carlton Cullins here in South Austin, Texas, and welcome to Mixtape Gumbo. This week, I want to explore the idea of expression. I love the word expression. I'm going to read a definition off the interwebs that I found. It says expression's a noun. It is the process of making known one's thoughts or feelings. I love that because expression's a word. It's a funny word. We've heard the word expression, but it's not a word that people often use that much anymore. If they do, people use it to describe an expression maybe on somebody's face or something like that. But I like expression, especially kind of its abstract definition or idea or theme. To me, expression is ultimately and essentially communication. It's our freedom. It's what defines us in so many ways. It allows us to be ourselves and be who we are, our truth. And that's really, really important. I think about a child or just our life in general, being born a small child, and we grow and continue to move until the very end of our lives when we die. We need potential to express our bodies, our thoughts in many, many ways. I think about, the similarity of a flower being born in a seed, and ultimately it needs the potential, the freedom to be able to express itself and grow to reach bloom. In a lot of ways, that brings about ideas of love. I think about love in the same way. Love being something maybe innate, something that's born in us, but it could go wrong. It needs proper cultivation, proper expression to, I think, demonstrate what the potential, what it could be, what it maybe in my mind should be. Something beautiful, something beneficial to ourselves and beneficial to everything and everyone around us. But sometimes love goes wrong. Sometimes I think when our freedom, our expression is denied, it's misunderstood. The feelings of fear, misunderstanding, hate, anger, all that can turn love into something different. It's still an expression, but it's something different, and it might not be productive at all. It could even turn to violence. But these are all forms of expression, so it's important that we have the room when we allow others and ourselves to express ourselves in a way that's positive and in a way it's free. That there's really not a right and wrong. I mean, of course, everything has to be respectful to yourself and others, but being able to speak and do and express ourselves is so essential to our existence. And it's something that we have a hard time dealing with, I think, and that's where a lot of the problems in life come. We always talk about problems in communication are really at the root of all our problems. But if you remember, and I remember how much potential we have to express ourselves in everything that we do. Think about the way we walk. Think about the way we move. Think about the way we move through our life from beginning to end. Think about the way we talk, and talking being a means of our most important means of communication, expressing ourselves, music. I think about us singing, not necessarily singing like a song, but just singing our life. There's also often that phrase they say, living the life that you sing about in your song. So that what you want to be in your mind, your hopes, your dreams, you should be living out every day. And I think about a bird singing. I do think about music, because music to me is the ultimate form of expression. And it's so important to people understanding each other without words and out barriers. I think about the way we dress and the way we decorate our houses or your office or whatever, your car you choose, your shoes you choose, the people you associate with. Everything that you do is in a way, defining who you are and defining your existence. It's defining your own uniqueness. Some people think that they're not unique. We're all unique. We all have this beautiful thing about us. You've got to learn to bring about that, express yourself. I grew up in a small town in Northeast Texas, and it's a lot more conservative up there than it is in Austin, Texas, where I live now. A lot of ideas of expression sometimes were repressed, and that causes people to be pissed off and angry. And because people want you to be more or less sometimes the same. And I've never understood that, because that's the opposite of freedom. That's the opposite of our idea of patriotism, of freedom in America. We have this beautiful thing. We live in this beautiful country. I want to see everything reach its full potential, but we've got to understand that expression is important. And it doesn't mean that you always like the expression of others. I would often say that a lot of times we're not going to like it. And as long as it's not doing harm and it's respectful and we each respect each other, I think we should allow each other as much as we can to allow each other to express and have freedom. Freedom is powerful. Expressing ourselves, expression in general is powerful. It's healing. It's extremely useful in so many ways. It's liberating. It's our display of our own uniqueness, something that we all have. We're not all the same. We're all different. And it's important that you find what makes you you. And don't worry about what other people think. I think it's so easy to get in that mindset to worry about what others think, but you need the freedom to be able to move and do what you do. Like I said, as long as it's not doing harm to others, you should be able to just feel okay in your skin suit, in your shoes, and do what you got to do. You'll be so much happier, and it makes everything and everybody around us, everything better. Ultimately, our life is our expression. It is our song. It is what's going to define us in the end, however short or long that may be. It's the reason I do this podcast. I needed a reason to express. Even if nobody listens and nobody cares or people don't like what I have to say, it's still an important means for me to express myself and be creative. It's also why I care so much. I work as a personal trainer. It's why I care so much about health. Health is so important, because everything that we want to do, we want to express, the things that we're trying to do in this life, however short or long it may be, depends on our health, because this is the vessel that we travel through this life in. So we must take care of it. So I care a lot about health. I care about health way before I do fitness. Fitness is important, but I always talk about health is the foundation for everything, and health should come before fitness. Fitness, in my mind, is really only a means to maximize health. That's where it's the most beneficial. It doesn't mean that it has to be that way, but it is. You get the most out of it when you use fitness to maximize health, because ultimately, health is freedom. When you don't have your health, when you don't have your freedom to express yourself, you don't have that way to communicate how you feel to others, or even to yourself, or to a higher power, a spirit world, or the everywhere spirit, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to think of, any of these things. Ultimately, your expression is tied up in your freedom. It is tied up in your overall health, mind, body, heart, and soul. So take care of it. Find every way that you can to express yourself. Enjoy the freedoms that we do have, because we have so many. It's so important. And enjoy it. Help others express themselves in creative and constructive ways. Productive ways, because this ultimately is what makes the world go round, and it's where we can have a lot of fun and you can feel comfortable in your own shoes till the end of time. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's move on. So I love the idea of what I'm going to call the master teacher. Some people refer to it maybe as a mentor. Some people think of it as like a guru. I never really liked particularly the guru thing, because not real big on following one person. I think, as humans, we're flawed, all of us. And when you follow too closely and believe that any one person or one thing is everything, then that's going to lead potentially to all your problems. But I do believe in life there are master teachers. I always think about this Erykah Badu song called Master Teacher. But master teachers ultimately are people that I would say and describe that they have a lot of life experience and a lot of acquired knowledge about a lot of different things that they've assimilated into ideas, simple ideas that can teach you or me how to think about things, teach you how to learn new things. So it's not really about exactly what they're teaching, but how. I've talked about in another episode, I love this idea of Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about this idea of how important it is to remember how to think, not what to think, because we get so caught up in what to do, what to think, all the little details that may change over time, but how you think will not change. And you can build over that on time. So it's really a cool thing to constantly, I think, be trying to improve that and to have fun with that. All this stuff for me probably started with, honestly, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood on TV and watching Sesame Street growing up, because I liked the idea of the shows, even if I didn't understand it back then, because they just exposed us to a lot of new things, a variety. But there were similar themes. This was really a big inspiration for me doing this podcast, because I liked learning. For me, that worked well. It might not work well for everybody, but I liked it. I learned well from those ideas because I'm learning how to think. I'm seeing common themes and commonality and concepts that I can apply to any area and every area of my life. So essentially, it's shared knowledge and shared experience, guiding us through, I'd say, an array of colorful interactions with the world. So getting back to the idea of expressions, teaching, other people kind of imposing, their impressions and expressions of the world, and we learn from those. And again, that gets into our well of water of our spirit of life, and we are influenced by that, and we change the way we express ourselves due to all these maybe master teachers, master concepts, master things that we learn. And all of us, we're learning these things all through life. When you really start to pay attention, there's so many masterful people out there. So I'm going to talk about a few instances where I had some an epiphany. I had those aha moments where I was just awoken, enlightened, and I'm very thankful for them. I remember being in high school, and I got really into civil rights. I started listening to a lot of Martin Luther King speeches, Malcolm X, and they were fascinating to me because they were just very, very powerful figures. And growing up in Tyler, Texas, it was kind of taboo because they were, people still thought that they instigated just bad things in America. It's funny. I mean, MLK, Martin Luther King, we have a whole day dedicated. We talk I Have a Dream. It's like beautiful stuff like that. And I think he's an extremely powerful person. But there are some people out there that feared people like Martin Luther King because he was so articulate and he had beautiful things to say, but he stirred the pot. And some people do not like you stirring the pot. And so I think that's, ultimately what got him killed. And Malcolm X was similar but very different in a lot of ways to MLK in the civil rights movement, but both were essential because they both had things that each other didn't have. Anyway, I'm getting off track. In high school, I got into Martin Luther King. If you've never listened to his speeches, I'm going to include some. I have a MIXTAPE GUMBO playlist that's free on Spotify. You could create a free account and just go listen to it. But I'm going to find some speeches and I'm going to put them on there. You should listen to them. If you've never listened to them, oh my God, it's so powerful. Nobody could speak as well as Martin Luther King. I don't know if anybody ever will. Just extremely powerful. But he had a particular speech that I listened to over and over. I believe it was the American Dream speech. Sometimes it goes by different names. But he talks about different ideas of love. And he actually goes back to talk about his learning and education on Greek philosophy and kind of goes to talk about that a little bit. But he talks about in Greek philosophy that there's three main ideas and words for love. The first one being eros or eros. I'm not sure exactly how to say that correctly. Being basically a love. this is my own interpretation, but a love of beauty, love of things that are more superficial, a little more maybe possibly even short-lived. The idea of like romantic love or even sexual love. I think to me it's more of a fragile type of love. It's an outer superficial type of thing, but it could be more. But I think a lot of the ideas that we have in relationships, a lot of people out there, and I was at one time, you get caught up in beauty or get caught up in the physicalness of things, and you think that that's where the love is, and it's short-lived. There's much deeper stuff inside, but you've got to go there. And it takes sometimes a lifetime to learn these lessons, maybe even a few. But that was the first idea of love, this eros. The second one was philos. And I may be saying this wrong, but it's more of an idea of loyalty, of friendship, of equality, of family. It was, very reciprocal. Again, it's an easier kind of love. I think the first two are easier kinds of love. The last one he mentions in this speech, and it's really powerful, is agape. Agape. This, to me, and the Greek philosophers, there's lots of variations on this theme, but to me, it's a higher form of love. It may be the highest form of love when we think about it. It's also, in my mind, a tougher kind of love. It's an unconditional kind of love. It's a love that it might not be based on equality. In other words, it might be something that it's deeper and it's higher and it's harder and tougher kind of love because you've got to learn to love things that you don't like. And it's really powerful just to even think about that. And so Martin Luther King, of course, would use this to talk about loving your enemy, loving people that mean you harm because they are still another human just like you, and you love them based on this higher principle, this idea. But it also, to me, it was just forgiveness. And forgiveness, to me, may be the most powerful thing that I could ever think of. But anyway, that was high school. When I got to Austin, I was 21, and I got exposed to a lot of different things. When I got to Austin, there was a lot of people listening to reggae and Bob Marley. And I remember listening to quite a bit of Bob Marley, and Bob Marley was just a powerful person in general. But he had a lot of different themes in his music, but one of them was this idea of one love. And you see it's almost like a universal truth. There really probably ultimately is just one love, one kind of love. It has a lot of different ways it expresses itself, but one love. And I love the idea of that because it was simple. It didn't get caught up in all the rules and conditions that oftentimes are found in disciplines and religions. It was just one love. You love everything and everyone the same, and it's all beautiful, and it all should be good, and we're all connected. But I'm going to put some songs on there. If you've never listened to Bob Marley is really just great music that's a little different, and it definitely has its own character. But the song that really hooked me was a song called Natural Mystic. So I'm going to put that on the mixtape, and I want you to check it out. It's a powerful song. But later on in life, later on in adulthood, if you want to call it, probably within the last 15 years, I ran across a book by Dr. Andrew Weil, who's actually a medical doctor. He studied at Harvard, got a Harvard medical degree, and then he went and traveled the world and studied Eastern medicine and shaman medicine and non-traditional medicine to get the best of both worlds and have a lot of perspective. So I always value what he has to say. But he put a book out many years ago called Natural Health, Natural Medicine. Wonderful book, still in print. Awesome guy. I actually even know a girl who met him and said that he really lived the life that he sang about in his song. He really was a cool, beautiful person. But anyway, he has in this book, buried in here, it's amazing. It's buried, I think it's like 4 or 5 pages, but really only a couple of pages that he talks about love. But it's in a chapter on connections. Just the word connections was powerful for me when I read the chapter because it's talking about love, but referring to it in a form of a connection. And the theme of this episode being expression, it's a form of ultimate expression. But he has a lot of things to say about our ideas of love, and when you're younger or you're immature and you haven't learned this yet, you'll get caught up in the shallow kind of love, though that first Greek love where it's physical. You caught up in beauty and you think that everything's tied up in that, but that's short-lived. Oftentimes it doesn't last, and then you're left in a lot of pain oftentimes, and you just go on to another somebody else or something else, and you try to find the same thing, and you just repeat this pattern over and over until you eventually learn, hopefully, that love is never ending. It's unconditional. Love, he says in his book, he says something like that was profound to me. Love is not a trick, and it never ends. And it's basically where you contact the love that's inside yourself and you shine it outward with no worry about it coming back. You just put it out there and you don't worry at all about it coming back. But eventually you find it in others. And then you are joined in a union of love and understanding and expression and freedom. And you're allowed to not fear hurt and not fear, being misunderstood. You can allow to just be who you are and be yourselves. I think the whole theme of this episode, that's so important. That was so profound for me. I go back and read it from time to time. So this stuff's all out there. Go find it. It's really profound stuff. I love it. I want to get people really inspired. And anyway, enough. I'm blabbing. I'm going to move on. So in the spirit of expression, I want to talk about songwriting. I myself have played music since I was 14. Eventually, I started writing my own songs, and I've written quite a few songs. You talk about expression. I mean, you're definitely doing something that you don't know if you're gonna like. You definitely don't know if anybody else is gonna like it, but you write this stuff anyway because you need this. We all have this need to express. But in a song, particularly if you're writing the lyrics, the melody, the everything, and you're going to try to perform it, it takes a lot of energy and a lot of effort, and it needs to come from a powerful place. I was at a place well over a decade ago where I was in a pretty dark place. I just was confused about a lot of things, just growing up, maturing, and having a lot of questions, especially about love and relationships and things like that. And you get to some dark places, and you kind of get into, I would say, mild depression for me, but it would be, be pretty heavy stuff. But songwriting is an ultimate means of expression, and it's very therapeutic. This was a profound experience for me, writing this one particular song called Wounded Warrior. It's going to be the song I'm going to play right after I'm done talking here. I have an album. You can find this stuff on iTunes, and I don't want anybody to think I'm just promoting my stuff. This fits into the theme, and it was important. I'd like to share this. But I talked in there about this idea of opening your own heart and letting people and letting others love you the way you are, because it's so important. But all that love comes from a place that's deep, and you've got to learn to shine the best part of you out there at all times, even when you don't feel it, because it's important. The world needs that. We all need it. We're all connected together. But ultimately, when you do that, you will probably find that you will connect with the outside world better. It may be other people. It may be anything. Just your understanding, everything. When you put good stuff out there, a lot of times good stuff comes back. You don't do it for that reason, but it does happen that reason. It's love's born deep inside from a place that I think none of us understand. But when you try to contact it and put it out there, I think good things can happen. And you've got to keep yourself open so that it can come back to you. If you put it out there and then close up, then it's not going to get back in. Once you do put it out there and you do connect, then you're connected to the world. It's almost like you're connected for life. As long as you keep it open and you keep putting the good stuff out there and you keep yourself open, it creates this infinity circle. And that's ultimately where I think all the good things exist. So anyway, enough about that. I'm ending. I wish everybody best. Take care of each other out there. Take care of yourselves. Remember, everybody looks better with a smile. And stay tuned. I'm going to play this song now.
can see the sun. A new day is dawning. A new day has begun. Release the wounded warrior. Uncover your precious gold. Let go of the feelings you held back so long ago. It's never too late to open your heart and let someone love you just the way you are. But love's a light that's born from a place deep inside. Each and every one of us must learn to shine our own light. Hold on to forever, as long as you can. Don't let something precious slip right through your hands. If there's something you want, you gotta reach from within. But keep yourself open so you can let it back in. Open your eyes and meet your destiny. Without a warning, it shall appear to thee. Could be round the corner, could be right in front of you, could be there locked away inside.